Okay, thank you, Jaji. Thank you, everyone. Especially all our sponsors here, Microsoft, J-Power for Pantara Technologies and Silver Dragon. Welcome everyone to Microsoft 365 Saturday. Special thanks to the organizer. It's really a pain, to be honest, on organizing virtual events. It's hard to manage until you're in person or meeting in people. But yes, our people here, Vijay, Kamlesh, Jasjeet, they are doing their own amazing job here. So let's talk about today's topic. I'll be speaking about introducing Microsoft Graph Connectors. Myself, Manpreet here. I'm a technology specialist at Cognizant. I'm also an MVP at Office Services and Services, also on C# Community, and you can find me in all social platforms at Manpreet here. Easy to find me. You don't have to worry about where. Just use my name and just write here, and I'll be there for you. A cheesy line. I'm sorry. So let's talk about Microsoft Graph. Like it's been a lot. People talk about Microsoft Graph and they don't know how to access them, how to use them, and just like last week they announced a new version 2.0 launch. And people are still aware. Okay, what is 1.0 in that case? So don't worry about that. You're gonna see some real cool features of how Microsoft Graph works and how is that the future because right now we are still not aware about its own functionalities, about connecting to them, reading, editing data, and and it's just not about SharePoint. It doesn't stop there at 365. It's a lot beyond that, including external products. That's where the graph comes in picture as an endpoint, as an API, and we all will be seeing how to create them or how to use them. That's the purpose of this complete session today. So our agenda will be www of Microsoft Graph. It's like what, where, and why. Where to use it, what to use it, and why to use it like that. We'll talk about the Graph API. We'll see a demo on Graph Explorer, or we'll see a couple of options. There are a lot of options to connect. You can connect your graph through PowerShell, Postman, or console application, anything. It's just variation you can. So I can show you a couple of tests, how to connect, and then we'll take any questions you have. But again, sometimes you don't have time to take questions. You can just ping me anywhere, and we'll answer your every single doubt. So let's talk about our www, what, where, and why. So what Microsoft Graph is actually, if you see from the picture, it's highly clarified. Okay, it's just a complete solution to be added to every single platform. For example, I'm using SharePoint or I'm using Outlook. Right now, if you see Microsoft 365, every single product, whether it's Cortex or Syntex, they're all being in sync. They're all coming up with fixations that everything should be together. And that's the best part of it, right? What it helps is when all the products of Microsoft are in sync, it's easy for the developer, for us to connect, to read and write the data, or to do any process change, to do any modification. So the flow comes in picture. There are normal workflows which we build from Automate, and so if you see, this is nothing but all connectors. We are all connected to each other. No, those were days when we used to connect SharePoint Designer, and we used to build workflows with them. And it had its own limitation because SharePoint Designer is equal to SharePoint. That's it. But now when we have Automate and things like that, we are equal to connect every single platform together. I think that's the best part of it. And this graph, Microsoft Graph, brings out that feature. And how are we going in? Just do the camera shut down because so that I'm faster with my laptop. So if you see the picture here, there's a user who is connected to every single platform Microsoft just through Graph API. So let's see what is Graph API. Microsoft Graph is nothing but a gateway to data and intelligence in Microsoft 365. Again, that's a to-do model. Let's be done. So what is Microsoft Graph? It's just a single endpoint which provide access to a rich and people-centric data, especially the insights. Like you can read every single data inside it, including a geo ID of a team or a channel ID and things like that. It all uses REST API, of course, because any API means REST API. It's easy to connect our REST API or SDKs to access the endpoint and build apps that support the scenarios you want to support in your processes. It can be any platform, any Microsoft platform. So, and not only that, if you see the product, which we will see, they are expanding so much. They are going to to-dos and planner and things like that. So it's not about just a enterprise model. Everything will be connected. Whether you are part of the government, you're part of the education, you're part of the infrastructure or IT, and all different processes can be connected to Microsoft Graph. And the best part of it is every single thing you build is already in access, compliance, and security. There's no data leakage, no data loss. It's all covered it there because again, because we are using Microsoft, all your policies, whatever you have built in, will be all affected. Even if you have Microsoft Graph access, you are the admin guy, it doesn't actually matter. It just takes care of it. Second thing is, and that's the endpoint you're providing is graph.microsoft.com and slash the version slash the product you're gonna use and slash the enhancement what you want to get from the data. So which you'll see here. So using Microsoft Graph API, what you do is you build Microsoft Graph connectors. That's the second process where the data comes through, data go through into Microsoft Graph services and applications, and it helps in a lot of variation. So when I say a lot of variation, for example, let's talk about search. We have been all using search, and when you go to search icon in the SharePoint or Outlook or OneDrive, if you see there's a common search engine right nowadays. It's not like a SharePoint has a search or Outlook has a search. You can just search something, and every single Microsoft search will come up there, like from Outlook to SharePoint to OneDrive. That's where the graph comes in. Graph goes when you search something, it goes and reads every single platform. It goes to the OneDrive, Outlook, SharePoint, starts reading the data and get you the keywords from there. With all access inclined, it will tell you where you don't have permissions or where you have permission. If you don't have permissions, you don't see the keyword or the data coming up through. But if you have, you will see it. Similar way, when the connectors come in picture, the Graph Data Connect provides a scalable system between Azure data storage and the cache data storage, where it not only keeps your application with IntelliSense, it also helps us to get connected to our platform much more easier way than we used to do with our application or client-side coding or server-side coding. It's just a one single line of code and which can allow you to connect with your Microsoft products. To just keep it easy that way, where are we using Microsoft Graph? It was already being used in Delve and Excel and bookings and things like that, and now it's being used everywhere. It's just part of the enterprise products. Everywhere you'll be finding it, including even Windows. So even if you're doing a Windows search, the Windows search is also doing a search through Graph Explorer. So that's what the backend, which we were never aware how things are working on, and we are actually getting access to. And this is nothing but if you have worked in your SharePoint SPFX solutions, if you're working on that, this is the best way to connect with your data and things like that. Remember, we used to have web services which we used to call in SharePoint, AS.asmx, question mark, and then we'll call data. This is almost the same thing, but it's much easier. It gives you a more detail and how you can connect with your data. So yeah, it provides rich context, deep insight, real-time updates, broad reach, and 200 million people. Okay, this is all an old number. The way we talk, it's a lot more data. More number of people are using it, more number of companies using it, and we, knowingly or unknowingly, are all using it. That's actually Microsoft Graph. So let's see. How this has been connected and how this has been built. So just see if we have something called as Microsoft 365 experiences. Like you have a SharePoint product or you have Outlook, OneDrive, Teams, this Power Platform, so many, all the Microsoft 365 platform, And we are always building web apps on that, Power App, forms, bots, agents, workflow automation. And everything when you build using a Microsoft product and a layer over to it, the layer can be connected with the graph API. So the your layer will be a UI which you are making a native app for your end user, and but the platform behind can be SharePoint, OneDrive, and any Microsoft product which I was talking about, even a Planner or To Do, and Teams and things like that, all connected through your connector Microsoft Graph. If you just see, if you just tell me, hi, I use Microsoft Automate, is it Microsoft Graph? I'll say yes, it is Microsoft Graph. It's exactly Microsoft Graph. So that's what I said. Initially, we were not aware of how the backend works, but the graph brings it very easy way to pass our access token and get things to it. It's that easy, and because of that, we are able to not only do operations, multiple operations with a single line of code. We are able to do it faster and hitting or connecting the data in a very secure and efficient way. So right now, Microsoft Graph API is available for, as I was talking, Azure Active Directory, which is the complete all-in-all. What else do you require if you have an Azure Active? An Excel, an Intune, Outlook, OneDrive, OneNote, SharePoint, Planner, including To Do. It just got added. I have to update my catalog here. Along with it allows you to write and read in Android, Angular, ASP.NET, iOS. Like just see the languages in the platform. You can just use anywhere. If you are any kind of a developer here and you don't have to be SharePoint developer, you can still work on Microsoft Graph. Now the best part of it is they gave you a product also, okay, to test around, to play around, and use the syntax directly on your code. So who does that? Especially Microsoft. No, never. It's always a hard way to get things. But yes, through Graph Explorer, we have a preview, a place where we can actually go in and see how the endpoints are working, how the web interface are working with the Graph API. It's kind of a developer sandbox solutions, like where I will be able to run my commands such as get, push, put, like normal commands, and get a format like a reply back on JSON format or adaptive card format or just HTML format. I think as you won't believe me, but why don't we see a demo? So let me quickly share my screen here. Okay, so in my screen, if you see, just go in to everyone. I will actually ask everyone, even if you're not aware how does it happen, just type in Graph Explorer on your Google or actually Bing.com. We are in a Microsoft conference though, but that's fine. And you just have to come to your Graph Explorer. That's it. It's a simple process. Just comment. The screen like this will come up on your screen. I'm gonna click on the tags, and if you see, it will ask you to log in. Especially if you're not able to log in with your Hotmail or things like that, try to log in with your credentials, your company credentials, because it will allow you to take in there. And if you see, I have been logging with support at the rate of my uh, platform here, my own dev account, and I'm like connected, and it shows I'm connected, and this is how it runs. Okay, if you see, I am able to get all my responses here from get, post, push, patch, delete. This is the version I'm using, right? US 1.0 and the second one is beta, and this is the single endpoint which I am talking about, graph.microsoft.com/3.0 and more, and the slash me. So, what are we gonna see here is like there are a number of platforms here. If you see, we are able to get connected to applications, my profile, batching, Excel, extensions to group, Insight, Teams, To Do, Notification, OneDrive. See, if I keep on saying the list goes on creating and it's never ending. They are adding every single one day a new character or a new graph API endpoint for you to connect. is that vividly for us. And the one which you see in beta mode, they are not in stable mode, but they are still functional. But yeah, if you want to use them in beta mode, you can always use them in beta mode, and that's the endpoint of how it works. So before I talk about the endpoints here, so how does it work here is, so Microsoft Graph API is just a one, like if you see we are using a 1.0 endpoint. It uses two methods. One is the HTTP method, which is allowing you to pass the parameters from one to another, which is here. Let me go back here. Okay. So we are just using the parameters on the version 1.0 and then passing the HTTP parameter, which we is nothing but the method, what version are we using, slash what resource are we using, and then the query parameters you want to create. It's more often like optional. The query parameters, you can use an OData query options or REST method parameters that customize the response you want to get it from there. But the resource is what you will provide. Right now, if you see my screen here, the resource is nothing but me. So if I run this query, it's gonna give details about me. So what am I here? So I'm gonna remove my name here. So if you see, I have a response preview which gets generated directly from this one single line of code, which I can use in all my console application or PowerShell, and it gives me my name, my detail, my email ID, my phone number, my location, every single thing. Okay, now you say, okay, in that case, I can see anybody. No, if I have access, if I am the admin of the tenant, I will be able to see. But if you want to see my details and you are not my admin or you're just a colleague in my company, you will not be able to see. So it's a, so it creates a response preview, and best part of it is it's a response header which comes in and tells you where the data is coming from. And as I was talking, the code snippet, okay, or something is wrong. Okay, it's not available right now. So it gives you a code snippet of what you want, and all this data will be also available on adaptive card. Just expand this, copy this on your Power Made, Automate, and use it for your own purpose. So it will tell you, or you can share the code, the JSON code some way. And as like I was just sharing the last call, whenever you want to do a demo, some things doesn't work. So normally the code snippets will come up here. It will be on the full format, whether it's a C sharp or a JavaScript or a Java or Object C. And this purpose, right? Like getting up things is much more easier. So for example, I'm coming. Let's go to the Teams. Microsoft Teams is all about we talk about. If I'm getting my job here and my response preview here is here, so what I'm getting my all my profile, which is me, and my joint teams on a single click on just passing this graph. What parameters I'm getting here is ID, date and time, display, description, internal ID, classification. So I get every single detail which is available in the team. And as and when I want using this response code snippet, which I know it's not working, and which, okay, this is fine. So if you see the parameters, they come up with the same functionality of what I when required. So if I require this ID to be used in my console application to create something or get something, I can get. I can get members of a team. I can get the channels of a team which I am a member of. So I can get the channel info. So if I say the variation never stops, I can get n number of all my teams coming up here. Okay, this person has this many teams, access, and channel. So all the processes we use a similar way. If I come to SharePoint or OneDrive or Outlook, it has its own one single endpoint solutions. Nice, right? So do I have to do something for this or getting access to OneDrive or SharePoint? No, everything comes by default. So if I'm coming to SharePoint, get my organization's default SharePoint site. See, it goes in the backend, it goes to the root. Sites are nothing but SharePoint, and what I'm requiring a query is root, and it gives me the root side of this tenant. Simple running query. And this is the request body. The request headers can be anything. You can have pass n number of parameters or variables to store the data. You also have access to modify the permission. So, for example, I'm the admin, so I can do anything and everything right now. But ideally, what happened here is when we are working on modifying, and you are giving an access. So, for example, I'm a developer, and I'm asking the admin, "Hi, admin, I'm building some graph APIs. I want your help to give me access on it." Like, so he doesn't have to make your graph Microsoft Graph administrator and complete. If he will ask me, okay, are you working on SharePoint, Outlook, or OneDrive? I say I'm working on SharePoint, Outlook. He will just go to that particular Graph API endpoint, whether there right now is SharePoint, and he will just give a consent to approve or decline. And if he approves, I will just get consent on behalf of the organization. I will have a direct access from there, or he will give me to that particular property to read or edit or delete or read item or something like that. So it's that controlled access, which is very important right now in this world of all data. It gives you a very minute data access provisions where you can revoke people access, add people access directly on your Graph Explorer. So you don't have to be an admin or a tenant to access the Graph Explorers in a way. So this comes in, and of course, this is all passed by access token, which we all use. So in a way, if you see, this is just a nice, good React.js wrapper. So it's like a wrapper which is built on the solution of Azure portal and gives you the same level of request body, request headers, what kind of data are we looking in, and you pass those kind of parameters in there. So whether it's my calendar in OneDrive, in OneNote, and this is mostly we are using it, of course, in Microsoft Flow / domain. We are only using it in our SPFX solutions, in our Power Apps. We are getting fetching result, and we are using it for making connectors. So connectors is the business here. Okay, so where you will be making products to end a point solution. So when I talk about connectors here, right, so if you see here, I'm on portal.office.com, and let me just give a refresh. Here, so I'm on portaloffice.com. If you see if you're on Office 365 and you have never noticed, if you go on the search icon here, this search toolbar have been added to every single online product. So every Microsoft 365 product have the search icon. So if you go in there and you try to search something, it not only searches you a product. For example, if you are logging in SharePoint and you see this box, it's not only giving you details from the SharePoint site, it's giving you details from M365. So it's getting you details from Outlook, your files, your OneDrive, your user profiles, your site. So that's how it works. And now you can add in more. You can add in your planner, to do, your company profile, your team channel, whatever you require, you can customize it. And but again, I'm not stopping right there. The best part of it is you can actually add third-party tools, which is the play game here. Third-party tools like Google Suite, Workspace, ServiceNow. You can really, for example, I have to look for a ServiceNow ticket, and I don't have to log into ServiceNow to check for a ticket number or checking for my status. I can just type in my ticket number here, and it will just get me the search results from the ServiceNow. Interesting, right? That's the use of Microsoft Graph, which we are talking about here. So let's go back to my deck here. I think I have to reshare my track. One second. Yeah, I think this is better. So if we see my screen, we use the HTTP method, so like get, post, batch, put, delete to get what we are requiring a database from. And so everything, all of what we see was from a Graph Explorer, right? You will say, okay, then Microsoft has a product and a solution, and how about like you doing the same thing through PowerShell? So people say, okay, console application, you will pass this endpoint. And how do we do it from PowerShell? Right now, what we do in PowerShell is we write a JSON or see some PowerShell scripting, and we do our operations, right? But how easy it is if you just have to pass one single parameter to get what you want and use that result as a variable and then bypass it and things like that. Excited, right? Let's go back to a quickly demo. The time passes like super quickly, and I think Jasit or someone will tell me when is the model coming up. So I have opened a Windows PowerShell model, simple Windows PowerShell model, okay, and nothing here. What I'm going to do is, so yeah, so so first everyone, if you don't have it, I would ask you to install the module of Microsoft Graph, a simple command, module cell graph, and actually Microsoft Graph. So I have already installed it, a simple version, and but you can go in and I have a cheat sheet also. Let me see. It's easy for to show that cheat sheet, and I can always share it with you in the end of the session. So okay, this is my cheat sheet which I use normally. Who will type them like? So it's simple, like a require you can have install module name Microsoft Graph required version 0.01 button, and this will help you to install the graph. It takes like 5 to 7 minutes. That's why we don't do it on the demo session. It's already free, have just 45 minutes. Once it is installed, you can just go and check the module. Like I'm gonna check whether I have it here or not. Let's see, because I already installed it, I guess it will tell me the installed module of Microsoft Graph. So if you see, these are the module solutions which I have. I have applications, booking, calendar, devices, financials, group, SharePoint, planner. So in easier way, what I'll say is these are the products which I will be able to connect or read or write data using a PowerShell or a PowerShell module which I'm gonna show you. Excited? Yeah, you have to be. And this is the graph scope which I'm gonna share with you. Where is it? Okay. So it keeps on running the graph scope, but let's see, let it come up and welcome to Microsoft Graph. So what will happen is once you like I am already a part of the Microsoft Graph, I have it will ask you to log in. So your login page will come something like this here. Uh, so once you install, it will ask you to log in with your SSO, which is again you can use your enterprise. So first thing what you have to do is go to the Graph Explorer, which we saw, sign in with your account and check one of the API or the endpoint is working with you or not. Whichever account you are able to get some endpoint results, that is the account which you have to use to connect with your graph. Because until you have Microsoft Graph access, you won't be able to connect. You won't be able to connect with your normal Hotmail ID or Outlook IDs. It should be a corporate account or an enterprise account, or just log into a developer license. It's free for 90 days and it keeps on extending a E5 license, which is amazing. Use one of those, enable Microsoft Graph their license on your name and just start using it. Okay, so now when I come here and we are seeing this screen here. Sorry, I think I closed the screen. Okay, yeah. So it always tells me, okay, hi, you are already connected to Microsoft Graph, and so in this way, I am gonna, for example, check for the licenses which are available. So there are a number of commands, okay? I'll show you a couple of them. So if you see the licenses, I can assign someone a license, I can revoke someone license, I can set a new license for someone, I can see the detail of any license, all through Graph. I don't have to go to a command center or SharePoint Center and get the command and things like that. Everything, every single thing I can come in here. And it's not about the license center. It's all about the commands you want to run for Outlook. See the command for Outlook. You can have your task created, members created, Outlook options, email options, everything from Graph. Or if I talk about Teams, okay, Teams. Everybody talks about Teams, yeah. And Teams is what the front page of Microsoft. See the number of commands you have for Teams. Using Graph, you can go and create a new team, you can create a new channel, you can add in people, revoke people, even reply to those text messages. So how about you think about bots which are working in so many bots people are building, the virtual agent, for example, everyone using Microsoft virtual agent with their licenses. It's all the graph which comes in and passes the same command get put so, and it takes in and takes go. This is what is more important. And if you see the commands here, I can get a team owner. I can get team owner's description also, or I can get his email ID. I get every single details of from teams. So as I said, it's a never-ending process and it keeps on growing. And and not only about one platform, it is a multi-platform unit as we were talking about. And you can do series of commands. You can do a single command. For example, let's do a series command for SharePoint. So we are getting a SharePoint site root. Okay, it's going to give me my ID and the display name from my tenant. So if you see, I have already clicked it, it's running. So it gives my GUID of my site, it gives my site name, and it tells me the site name. Good, right? And how about I search for, okay, I can see there is a site name called communication. Let's get a description and description if I have of that, along with the URL. So what I'm passing here is getting my site, search for communication, which here, if you see there's a display name already communication here. I'm searching for a site called communication. I'm selecting an object. I want to see display name, description, and a web URL. So when I run, I don't have a description. Of course, we never put them. But I have a display name. Yes, it was able to search for this site, communication site, and it gave me a web URL of it. How easy was it? Like, and I'm just using a PowerShell module. Just think about when you write a thing, actually start writing code on it, and it will be super quick. And trust me, we have been doing so much applications, and this makes it easier for us to get how and when, what and when we require. Okay, and as I was talking about series, you can use object ID, you can use all the solutions you want. It just keeps on going in. You can get all your document libraries inside and things. So let me see if there's any list here. So I just passed, what I did was I just passed a site pages to see what are the site pages ID do we have here. And once I have done with it, I'm gonna see if there's any site pages in this. So let's see if there's any sites. No, there's no site pages. Okay. Okay, so there are no site pages up there. So if you see the command prompt, it gives you a single site page level also. It will tell you how many workflows are there in the backend, and all from a single endpoint, which is the Graph Explorer. Good, right? Excitement? Yes, it is. I know it's a super excitement phase, and let me share my other screen with you here. So this was one of the way of what we did was through PowerShell, and we saw from the Graph Explorer. How about Postman? So whenever the name Postman comes, it means API, or actually I should say whenever the name API comes, it means you have to use Postman. Now, come on, it's not a mandatory process, but yeah, Postman is a platform for making API development. It's the best. There are a lot of people who said a lot of other platforms. I will totally accept, but I feel it's Postman is more comfortable. Probably I've been using it from long, and it's like it's a very simplified step process of streamlining the process. The API is so easy to connect and make and build. I don't know, it's easier. So what we saw here, when you connect with your Graph Explorer and things like that, with your uh, Graph Explorer already have it, but when you use the same command in command prompt, what did we do? We installed Microsoft Graph versions and we started using the commands directly from there. But how about we do the same in Postman? It's a simple process. And these are two of the cheat sheet. So I have this cheat sheet which I call it as always cheat sheets because it's gonna in-house. So let's go here and use my cheat sheets here. So let me go back to my screen here. Okay, so I'm opening Postman. Postman. Okay, run as administrator. So Graph Explorer, when you saw how it was working, was because it was our taking our login. Similar way, how was Powershell working was because we logged in. But how do you think Postman will work? It won't work that way, right? Because it's a third-party tool. So for a third-party tool, Postman is still loading. Okay, let it finish. Okay. So for a third-party tool, you need to bring in and connect your resources. How do you connect? Of course, we will have to pass through Azure Web Services, pass an access token, client key, and then you'll be able to connect. But yes, it's not much of an issue. Don't worry about it. It's very simple. We'll just see that here. Okay. So if you see, I have Postman here. Just uninstall and install a new one edition, and it looks the same one. So first, what you have to do is import the thing. So if you see, I have this code repository where I come in here, or you can come in from the GitHub, which I can share the link with you, or you can just come in here, link, and remember the cheat sheet. Yes, the cheat sheet. Okay, let me go back to the cheat sheet here. I will just copy the cheat sheet, and you go to the import, enter the URL. Okay, I copied it twice. Enter URL and just click on continue. I already have it. So the collection. So if you see the collection, Microsoft Graphs comes in and you click on import, every single command or request will come in here. I would ideally say you should do every monthly once because our lovely Microsoft team, they keep on adding new products and things. But eventually when you come here or the team, you see all these every single commands are available here. Nice, right? So in Postman, I don't have to go and create a new API or pass. And see all my version here, as we were talking about single endpoint, they're available here. The parameters are available here. The authorizations, the header, the body, and all the thing. And you can do it right now testing with it. Right now it won't work. Why? I'll tell you why. So to connect this, you have to create an environment. In that environment, you just have to pass three major important things. One is your client ID, a client secret, a tenant ID. When you pass these three, it will generate an access token which you can use it once and for all, and it keeps on working. Like you should not have an end date. Like normally, I just keep it for some days because because you lose it, right? The access token is something like which you lose super fast, and Postman as in whole is easy to call REST or JSON based endpoints, right? And similar way, this will use the OAuth and connect you with the Microsoft Active Directory where you will enable. So if I go back to here, this is my portal.azure.com. So I think I should have some resources here. Yeah. So if you see, okay, still loading. Yeah, 1 second. No, okay, sorry, I'm gonna log in with a different account. Okay, it's fine. I can show you how to do it. So what you have to do is just create a consent of how the simple URL will work. Okay, so you just have to go in and get a client ID, create a normal application, web application, get the content ID, and most importantly, the client ID, the client secret, and the tenant ID you are aware of because you would be, I think, working on it. Get it from Azure, save it the file, and it's a simple normal app registration. If I go in here, just write in app registration because this will be your gateway for between you and Postman. And I'm just talking about not only about Postman, any API product you are gonna use it with a similar process. Just come up here. Okay, I already have. See, if you see, I have a couple of them. Graph demo. Just come in here, choose one of the graph. I'm just choosing one of this thing. Your client, when you create a new app registration, it gives your client ID, your tenant ID is already there, and just go there and get your client secret ID. So here. So just go in there, create a new client secret, have in 1 year, 2 year, however you want it to be, and that's it. When you pass these three things important, and you will be able to connect with your tenant or your Active Directory. So that's what a graph requires. You need to be connected. Once you're connected with your tenant, that's it. It starts taking in your commands and things like that. So you will come back to the Postman and Okay, and when you pass in these parameters, the reset value and the access token, that's it. And then you will be able to do the same functionality which we were doing, getting the theme. You can pass the theme ID, getting all the details here, and when solution. Interesting, right?
5 minutes
I
left.
can share your seat. Just ending, sure. And I think my camera here. Sure. So as long like so if you see Microsoft Connect Graph connectors, it's like a complete end-to-end solution, and along with connecting your data along not only Microsoft products as I was talking about, you are able to connect third party. That's why Postman and all these things come in the picture, because you will be able to merge two APIs to read and endpoints to read data and pass on data and things parameters like that. But ideally, what happened is we all know Microsoft product when they start something in building, they start with very slow. So I remember when Microsoft Graph came in, it was minimal. Like okay, we had like three products and most of them in beta version. But now when you see the Graph Explorer version, you see it is growing and it is really growing. And the way it should, I would say, the better part of it is we expanded, right? Not only with Microsoft products, we have gone to even on-prem products, which can be open to normal API and graph picks from there. And this kind of solutions helps us to uh, take it on a way where the process will be working in a similar process. What I say is SharePoint crawling process. Not only SharePoint, even Microsoft 365 crawling process. So Microsoft 365 runs around, takes the product, the search engine, the platform, or you can use the same process for newer products like console application to do a scheduled job, or console application, or a bot to create themes, or a bot to create themes, or add new members, or add new IDs, or the governance. Like governance is a major important part of Graph API. For example, I want to create assign a new license to someone. I can just have some UI where I can just create and I click on a submit, like a Microsoft Forms you can use, for example. I go to Microsoft Forms, I submit the data, click on submit, it uses Microsoft Flow and Graph API and creates a resource hand or in Office 365 or a user or give them a license or give them a new team, new channels, Outlook, new tasks, connect with anything and anything, and you will be able to work on it. That was Microsoft Graph Connector. So, any questions, anyone?
Great session, Manpreet. A lot of covered all the possibilities of how and where you can use it. So yes, liked it. There's only one question from Mohammadu. He says, if possible, can you give us those commands to execute? And he sent this while you were around 15 minutes before.
Yeah, sure. I will share a cheat sheet. You can just go to my LinkedIn profile. I'll put the link there, and you can just copy from there, or I can just paste it here also. The
Yeah,
cheat sheet stuff.
and Mohammadu, we will be providing everyone, if you've registered on our Eventbrite website, if you have that email, if your email address is available to us, we will be sending every single attendee the slides as well. So you will get those links from Manpreet as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Manpreet. Thank
Thanks,
you for the
Suzy.
session. Yep. I'll see you later. Bye.
Sure. Take care. Bye bye.